yeah, this is a very rare group set. I was like, I thought people in this part of the world would buy Campy, and I thought Campy support would. I mean, they're like, no, we're pushing people towards SRAM now. I'm like, oh, okay. So you effectively just keep the shift button pressed, and it'll just go through the cassette faster than you can release your hand. It'll be on the smallest chainring.
Shimano has that. Like
No, I know Shimano has it, but the speed at which it happens and the smoothness with which it happens, you don't feel that aggressive that Shimano has. You don't feel that. Yeah.
But realistically speaking, nobody's ever going to do that.
Yeah, I thought so as too until it happened to me today.
Alright, we've got a new episode today. Today I'm delighted to introduce you to Nirav, who is from India, who stopped by here in Singapore with his Cipollini AD ONE and his Campy group set. So we spoke a lot about his bike and his group set, what he liked, what he doesn't like. And as usual, all of this podcast is available on Spotify if you would like to stream them there. And if you want to support this channel, please do support me on Patreon. And I'm also looking for more guests for 2025. So if you are in Singapore or if you're visiting Singapore and you want to be on my podcast, please send me an email. You can find my email, oompaloompacycling@outlook.com. It's in the description below. Or send me a DM on Instagram. Then we can hook up. And if you've got an interesting story to tell, come on to my podcast. We can film something next year. We'll plan it out. Do give this video a like or dislike and give me a subscribe if you want to subscribe to my channel. Okay, enjoy the video. Bye-bye.
Alright guys, welcome to another episode. I'm here with Nirav all the way from Mumbai.
That's right.
Mumbai in India. I was in India last month and we had a chat. How did we come to know each other again? You just follow my content and then we started messaging each other?
Yeah, like I followed your content. I followed you on Instagram and like I think I just like dropped you a text that I was coming to Singapore and would like be very cool to like meet up.
Yeah.
I think that's how we connected. Like it was quite random in that sense.
Thank you so much for coming all the way and taking your time off.
like classical sliding in DMs, right?
And it worked. And it went through. Thanks so much. You did a PNS ride this morning. I mean, you're kitted out all in PNS, man. What's going on? Very stylish here.
Yeah. So like PNS was a brand which in India was not very common. I was always like keen on getting it, and didn't really travel to Europe, to be able to get it. So when my friend launched it in India, Cobble Climbs, they launched it. Yeah, I picked up a few kits and was very impressed with the quality of the bibs and like the fit of the jersey, which I think the only other brand that comes, I would say, close and maybe even beats PNS slightly is possibly MAP. But like that's why and I think like out of all the brands, I think PNS does a great job when it's like bringing the community together, and like cycling alone is like okay, but like doing it in a community is like where you'd want it to be, and that's why like I think PNS like a little bit of brand loyalty there.
But it seems like Rafa used to be one of the big brands. I mean, it still is, but it seems like now people don't really favor Rafa. Maybe I'm wrong, but PNS seems to be the one that everyone's trying to go for. It's I don't know, man, but it's so expensive.
Yeah, but the PNS is absolutely like I think it's right up there. Where like when you're looking at cost of PNS, right? I think if you'd ask like people, they'd be like, yeah, it's possibly in the leagues of the Gucci's of cycling, right? But I think over there it delivers on the product, and I think PNS is a brand which is going more for experience rather than just like the quality of the product.
Yeah.
Like the quality is there, but the moment you marry that with experience, right? Like you see their content on YouTube when they're making those films. I think it makes you want to like when you wear it, it makes you want to go on those like massive epic adventures, right? So like that way PNS does a pretty good job. I think I think their marketing team can like pat themselves on the back.
I was just gonna say this marketing, man.
Yeah,
just like specialized.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, let's talk about cycling. We are here to talk about bikes and your previous bikes that you've had. Before we get onto this Cipollini AD ONE, tell us about your cycling history. How long have you been cycling? And share with us about all your previous bikes that you've had.
Yeah, so like I think much like everybody like started cycling during COVID, just to get fit. Like I had a little bit of high cholesterol and all that, so I was like, okay, cycling is a good sport to get into. So I started off actually on an MTB because I used to do a lot of off-roading on motorcycles. Had a little bit of an accident, so I was like, okay, maybe it's like unsafe at this point. And also like So I was like, let me try off-roading. So I got a Trek Roscoe 7 as like my first bike, like a hardtail dropper post. Realized it's pretty challenging to take the bike to trails outside. So I was like, no, I need to do something a little bit more accessible. Moved on to road, got a Java Vesuvio. I think it was an aero bike again.
Yeah, that's aero one.
Yeah. And I went over some pretty bad terrain in Mumbai, and I'll say terrain, I won't say roads because Mumbai is terrain. And I think I slightly cracked the seat stay, and I was like terrified of carbon at that point. And I stopped riding for almost a year with like a lot of busy with work and everything. And when I got back, I explored this Indian brand called Post. They make handmade steel bikes out of Columbus steel. So I got their flagship bike at that time called the Post Object, and that's when I first discovered Campagnolo. And it was a basic Centaur rim brakes with Sirocco wheels and things like that. Nothing too fancy, and like with DEDA components and all that. Rode it for about, I think, 5 months, and like I started realizing that while the bike's very good, it's losing a lot of power because of steel. A lot of flex, and obviously like you can't bring steel weight down beyond a point. And that's when I started speaking to a friend of mine. I was like, look, I want something on the carbon side, but like I want something better, and I want Italian, I want Campagnolo. So what do I do? I was looking at Colnago at that point, but then my friend like he's like, wait, just give me a bit, just give me a bit. So he was getting rid of his Cipollini, and he's like, how much are you willing to give me for the bike? And I said X amount for the bike, right? And he said, okay, you can take it. And so like his bike was barely used a year. And he has his own bike shop, so I knew it was maintained impeccably. So yeah, so like in 5 to 6 months, I moved on to the Cipollini, and don't think like I've looked back. I think it's a fabulous bike.
How is it like riding in India? Like like I said, I've been to India. Roads there are just crazy. Like no road rules apply. Where do you guys ride?
So we end up like leaving to ride by like 5 a.m. In the morning, because we need to get back to like where we stay by like 7:30. If we don't, then we're pretty much like uncleating like every 5 minutes. And the biggest issue with riding in India, I mean in Mumbai, I would say like the roads are bad, but the bigger issue is that there's not enough respect for cyclists on the road. So like when I like I've done a couple of rides in Singapore now, and it's like even if you're going in the bus lane where you're supposed to go, right? Like the guy behind you is not going to honk, and he's going to give you that respect. But in India, like the bus guys will actually try to bully you, and you feel like very unsafe at times.
They come very close to you.
Yeah, they come very close to you. They'll like just incessantly honk, even though they know that like you don't have that much horsepower in your legs. But yeah, like they'll try to intimidate you, and that's the problem. And that's why you want to start early and end early.
Yeah.
So that you can beat the traffic, and and especially if you're doing workouts, right? You need to find a patch of road where it works.
Right.
So that's the issue with riding in India. And yes, like you can go out of Mumbai and ride and all that works, but like when you're working, it's not that feasible to do that like ever so often. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's get on to the bike. This is a Cipollini AD ONE. You got it from your friend who runs a bike shop.
Yeah.
Were there other options? I know you said Colnago, you wanted Italian. What were the other options out there? Have you already heard of Cipollini by then?
No, I hadn't actually. I saw him riding it for the first time.
Mario Cipollini.
Yeah, Mario Cipollini. I did. Very notorious fellow in that sense. But I saw him riding. He told me, why don't you like try it out? And I tried it out, and it was like, I was like, this is great. It goes off the line very quick, and it holds speed. Like that was the biggest problem with the steel bike. It just couldn't hold speed. So in that sense, like it was good. So Colnago was one option. The other option that I was looking at was Pinarello, but Pinarello, the India penetration is not that great. So like there's a lot of F5s in Paris, but not that many like the high end Fs or the F12s, right? Like you don't have those many bikes in India. Except that there was the Villiers I tried, but I was not very impressed with the Villiers. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I looked at any other bike, because I was looking at two things, right? One, the serviceability of the frame, and like the warranty of the frame should be pretty easy. And the other one is like, it should look good. Like, because Italian bike, if it doesn't look good, there's no point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, cool. And were you impressed? But the thing is, because I'm assuming your friend's height is about the same as yours to be able to fit on, for you to be able to fit on this.
Yeah, so it's funny. We have the exact same problem. We both have very high inseams.
Okay.
So for my height, 178 or 177.9 or something like that, and my inseam is 88.5. To put it to give you perspective how bad that is, when I go on to, like, let's say for example BMC's website, I put my height, I can't take the slider for inseam to 88.5. Like, that's how aggressive the body proportions are. So he has the same problem. In fact, I think his is worse than mine. So like I had to actually put the saddle down to make it work for me.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, but luckily, like, with both of our, like, the proportions, the bike fit like a glove.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy.
And I can't even fit the bike onto the frame. I always have this problem, and big bikes come here. I can't even fit it. Look at it, it's chopped at the seat post. But okay, let's give us a run through of the bike setup, and then we can have more chat about this.
Yeah, so the frame is a medium Cipollini AD ONE 2022, got in 2023. The Groupset is, at that time, was the top end Super Record EPS V4, so it's electronic. 5034 in the front, 1132 in the back. The only non-campy component is the chain, because, well, campy spare parts are just notorious, and I think we can go on about that. so that's a KMC 12-speed gold chain to match. Unique setup in terms of wheels. It's a 45 section up front, 60 section behind. But that's how Cipollini sells it. Like, it's not like he did it or I did it. The handlebar is a one-piece 110 a stem with 42 compact Dead Island era. The seat is a Selle Italia L3 size Carbonio Superflow boost, and it's got a ceramic speed bottom bracket, and the wheels obviously are ceramic bearings, because that's how cult wheels come with Campy. So the wheels are the Bora Ultra WTOs. And the bottle cages, I think, the crowning jewel of the bike, are the lightweight LFers. And yeah, and the bar tape is a Berg Stealth.
And you have Mario Cipollini's signature.
Signature.
And I asked you, like, whose signature is this? Like, oh yeah, it's Mario's signature. I'm like, how did you get it? And you said this was like a custom paint, and then you get the option to add.
Yeah, so they have an option to customize your bike with this thing called the My Chipo, which is effectively like you can pick and choose like blends, and you can get a certain paint finish that you want. So this is like a pearlescent white, but in matte. So it was like a unique in that sense. So when you go for a My Chipo, you can get like a signature on the seat post.
Okay. What's the weight? What are we looking at?
So without pedals, it's about 7.4, 7.5. I've not weighed it in a while, so I don't know if it's changed. And like I'd weighed it was with a tube setup. So with tubeless, it's maybe gone a little bit on the higher side.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's about, I think for an aero bike, it's quite light.
Yeah, it is. And price.
Price. So I'll tell you the price what it costs in India to build this bike. I'm not going to reveal what I paid for it because I promised my friend I wouldn't tell anybody about it.
For sure.
But to build this bike, it would be about 24,000 Sing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was asking you, like, why is it so expensive? And you said in India because of import taxes, right?
Oh yeah. So like the import taxes in India, on depending on which component, right? It can range from like 30-40% to even 100%, and it depends on the component. Like for example, like if it's an electronic drivetrain, it can go up to like 100%, because I think the Campagnolo Super Record EPS V4 in this part of the world, like this version now costs like I think 2,500-3,000 Sing.
Okay.
Yeah, and like over here, and like when I got it, like in India, even today, if you go, if I open that website and show you the cost of it's like 7,000 Sing.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Before we talk about reviews of the frame, you were talking about the Campy, and I know people don't buy Campy, or they shy away from Campy mainly because of serviceability.
Yeah.
And like you just mentioned, maybe getting parts.
Yeah.
The chain.
Yeah.
What's up?
So obviously, like the bike's totally done like about I think now 13,000 kilometers. So like obviously like chain was the first thing I had to change. 12-speed chain Campy, they said like, like when I inquired about it, it was like, oh, it'll take a couple of months to come. I said, no, I can't like wait for a couple of months. Like other components will wear out and it's carbon on top of that. so I went for a KMC 12-speed chain, but this is the problem, right? Like, and this is, and I just thought it was an India problem until I came to Malaysia and Singapore. And I spoke to the guys and they're like, yeah, this is a very rare group set. I was like, I thought people in this part of the world would buy Campy, and I thought Campy support would. I mean, they're like, no, we're pushing people towards SRAM now. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I think it's a problem everywhere, and more than spare parts, right? What I realized is that unless you've gone for the Campy training program in Italy, and I know about this because post the bike that I had previously has an exclusive OEM partnership with Campagnolo. So all their bikes are just Campy. So they told me that they had to send their mechanic to Italy for a couple of months to actually train him on how to service Campy parts. So a lot of bike shops may not find it worthwhile to put that kind of investment down to really get your mechanic up to speed to be able to service those parts, right? And that's the problem. And Campy in a lot of ways is like Apple. Okay, let me say when if I want to diagnose something, I can't. I apparently need the login details of the mechanic to be able to diagnose anything. Otherwise, it'll just keep telling me EPS is okay when I know it's not okay.
It sounds like you're driving a Ferrari. You're driving a Ferrari where you need like a specialist mechanic to fix all these parts, and just fixing simple parts requires so many things, and just getting parts, it's so difficult.
Yeah. I mean, and not only that, right? Like, there's like a lot of, I would say, hidden terms and conditions when it comes to Campy, right?
Yeah.
Like they have the same synchronous shift that Shimano or SRAM has, right? I was using it, and until I came to Malaysia, like where the guys at Jammy told me, please don't use synchronous shift. That's not what Campy made the group set for. It's a race group set. Please use it in the race mode.
No, wait. So it has the synchro
Yeah,
function.
it does.
Have you tried it?
Yes. It's quite good, but it does funny things, right? Like if you're in the small chainring and the big and the small chainring up front and the small chainring behind, like you're cross chaining, you can't shift into the big one. Right? You need to go back a couple of steps and then you can shift manually.
But that's just to prevent it from overstressing the chain, right?
Yeah, I guess. But apparently that's not the intended way Campy wanted you to use the group set.
Okay. Oh my god. I don't know if anyone will still buy Campy after today's video.
No, but okay. So I think Campy has its fair share of quirks, but having used now Shimano Ultegra, albeit 11-speed Di2, Super Record EPS V4, and SRAM I've tried on a couple of friends' bike who have read, and on a gravel bike I've tried the SRAM Rival. I still think that if tuned correctly, I don't think any groups can touch Campy when it comes to shifting precision. It's fabulous.
Shifting precision.
Yeah.
I thought the Shimano's precision is already damn bloody good.
No, but you should try.
Have you tried Shimano?
Yeah.
Have you tried Shimano?
Yeah, I have a Shimano.
Ultegra, the latest, 11?
Not the 12-speed, no.
11?
No. 11 I have.
I'm on the 11.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty damn good already.
No, you should try this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You should try the multi-shift on this. Let me put it that way.
What's a multi-shift?
So you effectively just keep the shift button pressed and it'll just go through the cassette faster than you can release your hand. It'll be on the smallest chainring.
Shimano does that. Shimano has that.
No, I know Shimano has it, but the speed at which it happens and the smoothness with which it happens, you don't feel that aggressive that Shimano has. You don't feel that. Yeah.
But realistically speaking, nobody is ever going to do that.
Yeah, I thought so as too until it happened to me today, where I had to literally cycle my cassette because I couldn't keep up with anybody because everybody's running 53s in Singapore.
Okay, let's put it there. But it does look like a sexy group set.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
just look at the shifters, shifters.
Yeah, every single thing's carbon. This is carbon. The inner chainring is alloy. But the outside crank is carbon. RD is carbon. Like I've never, like I didn't know that was possible until I saw this.
Yeah.
Like the rear derailleur is carbon. But
Yeah.
I mean, the prices of the spare parts reflect that, right? Like you all, like every time you have like a small fall or something like that, like if like, like it's very typical. Like I've had a couple of falls where I've wanted to like mount on a climb and like it's the cleating just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And you fall and then you're like, you get a mini heart attack. What's going to go this time? and like more than the price, it's like how many months am I going to be off the saddle because it's not going to be there.
So that's the thing. So I bought a look bike, and because of how uncommon it is in Singapore, it's just so hard to get parts, and maybe it's because it's still new. So the other day I was about to go cycling. I parked my bike at the kitchen, and it toppled over onto the drive side.
Okay.
And the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to screw up your RD.
Yeah.
Because that's
hanger.
the only thing that's exactly the RD, right? And I went out and my Shimano Groupset just didn't want to shift.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, what's happening, right? So I knew it was the RD. It looks super bent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, if it's so bent and they can't bend it back, I don't even have a hanger, man. I can't run. Because there's no third party guys who are producing hangers for bikes like brands like Look.
Yeah.
You get it for like Specialized, Cannondale, Track.
Yeah.
So I think that's the downside of having such parts of brands.
Yeah, no, and this is something that like I've always like spoken to, like I've been lucky enough to like be like have friends who are in the distribution space of bicycles, and I'm like guys, like how difficult is it for a manufacturer to like give at least one spare hanger when you buy like a bike of this cost? Like they just don't. Like why?
Yeah.
I think like there's very few brands which do it. I'm not sure which ones even do it, but I've heard like few of them, like a Factor. Yeah, I've heard Factor gives a spare hanger with their frame. Yeah.
Good on you, Factor.
Yeah.
Everyone should follow Factor.
Yeah, so like I know Factor, like because one of my friends just picked up the Factor Gravel LS, and he said he got a spare hanger with it. So yeah.
So now, my advice to everyone who's buying a bike that's super rare and the bike shop can't get spare parts, please ask them to get spare parts, man. Hanger is one of them. I think mainly hanger, headset, if it's like a proprietary headset where you can get third party, please buy them. Because once these bikes are out of trend or they no longer produce them, you're never going to get those parts again.
Yeah, that's a big issue, and like I don't think like it's reached a point where you can take the old hangers mold and try to get something 3D printed or something like that. Like, and that's also like after a point just going to cost like a lot.
But I know in Singapore there's like this fabrication shop. It's called the Rebound Centre, where they repair carbon frames and whatnot. I think they can make parts for you if you really have to, like a hanger. I think you just need like a metal sheet, get the blueprint of the thing, right, and just cut it out and
yeah.
But whether someone wants to do that just for a small piece, it's a different question altogether.
Yeah, like I think if you're in a place where that's the only option you have, yeah, like sure, like I think you do it, and again, like it's that same issue, right? Like, are they like I think I've changed the hanger once on this, and I was lucky enough that the shop had it, but like they said, okay, this was our last one, and like next time if you need it, either you tell us that you need it upfront and we'll keep it ordered, but if you don't call for it, it may take a couple of weeks to come from Italy. Like it's just how it is.
Damn. Okay, let's move on to the frame. Cipollini AD ONE reviews, please.
Oh, it's stiff. It's not. How do I say it? Like it's not as stiff as like like a TT bike. Like I think they have a stiffer frame called the N1KK or something like that. And but it's stiff where it needs to be stiff. But it's still pretty stiff for Indian roads, like for roads in Mumbai. I've done a 200k BRM on it, and I was absolutely fine. Like I never thought of doing a BRM on an aero bike.
What's a BRM?
A Breve.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Like a Breve, I've done a 200k Breve with about 2,000 meters of climbing on it, and I was absolutely comfortable. I don't think like I would be this comfortable on any other aero bike. It holds speed very well. It's light, so climbing doesn't become a chore.
Really? It climbs well? I mean, I know it's light, but aero frames generally, I don't know, it's a bit sluggish up hills. And
No. It climbs well, and it descends and it cuts hills like a scalpel.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's beautiful. Like it's and I think the good part is that even though it's aero, if you see the head tube, right? It's not that short as an aero bike.
Yeah.
Like it's quite tall. Like I would say it's somewhere. In fact, if I was to put the BMC Kayas O1 next to it, I think their head tubes might be quite similar. Yeah, and that's a gravel bike.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in that sense, I think they've nailed on the geometry, and also like I think the aeroness of the frame is like very prominent, and like anyone who looks at the bike, they're like it's a pretty modern looking bike. Like you don't get that very often.
Right. And reviews of the wheels. These are the Campy WTOs.
Yeah, I think they're expensive wheels, but I think they're absolute lookers. I think I would think that sit very well next to lightweights as well. I think lightweight wheels look fab, but very different finish though, right? Like lightweight finish is like very matte. This is very gloss. So I think it complements the bike in that sense. But I've yet to use better wheel sets than the Campagnolo Bora Ultras. I think they're the finest, I would say, racing wheel sets that money can buy. And I think they've come out with the new editions, which look even better than this one.
I see just now you were looking at wind space.
Yeah.
So which one is it gonna be?
No. So the use for wind space is very different, right? Like I want to try and see if I can use them on a gravel bike and use them as road wheels. But I would never put wind space on this bike. It's an insult to the frame.
Whoa. You're gonna. I can already foresee the commenters gonna be the keyboard warriors. This guy has no idea what he's talking about.
No. Like I would say, like wind space wheels. I think like for the price, like the price to value ratio is pretty good. But see, like when you're buying a frame that looks like the way it looks and performs the way it performs. You want to complement it with components which deserve to go on the bike. Like there's a reason. This is not like this bike. You can't put a mechanical group set on it even if you want
105.
You
105 mechanical. Mechanical 105.
You can't put it. There's no grooves for it.
Oh, okay.
So this is an electronic only frame.
Can I slap on rim brakes here?
No.
First world problems.
Yeah, first world problem. Yeah. So like I actually even I had that same reaction. I asked like what if I want to put mechanical? Can't. You can't.
You're paying so much for this. There's no way you're gonna put mechanical and rim brakes on this.
Yeah. So like I don't know if you know, but with frames like Bastion, right? For example, I've heard Bastion doesn't let you put anything below the top end group set on their bikes. What? Like you can't put Fords if you want to do.
I had to process that in my brain. Well, I can just buy the frame and bring it here and I'll just build it up, right?
No, like apparently they don't let you can do that, but apparently we won't give you warranty or some shit. I don't know. Don't quote me on this.
Bastion, is that correct? Bastion.
Sorry, but like I've heard that like they expect you to put like what do you call like something like red, or Dura-Ace red, or the new Super Record.
Well, okay, it makes sense. I mean, I don't think anyone in their right mind will spend 10,000 or however much that Bastion frame is going to cost and put on a 105 mechanical in the first place.
Yeah,
but they shouldn't penalize anyone who wants to do what they want to do, right?
Yeah, I think that's the Ferrari attitude, right? Like you can buy a Ferrari, but like you do like you so much rather put a pinstripe on it, we'll void warranty.
Just like Apple, if you want to change your batteries by yourself, they can't. It voids warranty. Okay, cool. Anything else that we should that you want to talk about? Oh, yeah, let's talk about accessories, man.
Yeah.
So a computer is a Garmin 540.
That's right.
Anything else?
Yeah. I mean, I had a light, but it sort of flew away today. Decided to fly away.
What brand is that?
It was a Magic Shine CME 200.
How was it mounted on? Like, how can you just fly off?
It was mounted on like the rails. Okay. Like you had that rail mount that you get, right? Like the V-shaped one. Like that's the one that it was mounted on, and the front light is also the Magic Shine Quality 1000. Like you need, like when you're cycling, like starting cycling at 5 a.m, like you need like a stronger light. So that's there. I actually had a Wahoo before this. I moved to Garmin from Wahoo.
Oh, wow.
So my Wahoo head unit was giving me problems. Like every time like the interval changed on my training, it would restart. And then I sent it for warranty. And at that time I started using my old Garmin watch again. And like when I saw like how it integrated with the entire ecosystem, and I had the Wahoo watch as well, but it just wasn't integrating that well with the Wahoo ecosystem. Like it was always looking like a standalone product. So that's why I moved to Garmin, so that like I'm able to like track like a lot more like I'm a little bit of a data nerd like that. So so it was, that's why I moved to Garmin. And I think like I think the Garmin 540 is like quite good. Like I don't think you need like the plasma screen 1040
Yeah,
on your
yeah,
bike,
yeah, yeah.
but the 540 or the 840 is quite good.
I'm on the 530, and the last time I interviewed Sepp Kuss from Jumbo Visma, he was running a 530 as well, man. It's a pro rider on a 530. Why do we need such big screens?
Yeah, but like that's what I heard. Like so, I heard that these guys use 1030s or 1040s when they do like training, right?
Training,
because
yeah,
they're able to like see their intervals and everything a lot better. But in the race, it's like always 530, 540s, like that
I don't
kind
even
of
think
stuff.
you have time to look at your computer, man.
Yeah, yeah, like and you're definitely not navigating using that. So like, yeah, like not in a race for sure.
Okay. Yeah, guys. If you have any more questions, I guess your IG is public, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can ask her Nirav and
Yeah.
If
It's peddling adventurer.
Yeah, follow him there. And then before we talk about any other things, so let's talk about accessories.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak about your helmet, but you said you have something else that you want to show. We will not reveal that yet. Let's talk about helmet first.
Yeah.
If you don't mind bringing that out. This is the Sweet Protection.
Yeah, this is the Falconer 2VI Aero.
Wow.
And this is also PNS.
Did you buy it because it was PNS?
Yeah. so we had a PNS ride in Mumbai, and it was the first PNS ride that they had in Mumbai. And because of that, they put this on sale for like 20%. And like the moment I heard 20%, I was like, yeah, sure, let's get it. And I didn't have a darker color shade of helmet.
Yeah.
And like I'm a little bit of I want to match.
Yeah.
So that's why like I picked this up, and because I already owned a Falconer 2VI in white. So I know that the helmet works. It's fine. It fit me well.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like that's why I picked this up, because
You just
it's
wanted
the
the
same.
PNS edition.
And this color.
And the color.
Yeah.
What's so special about this? I know it has this flap here. If you want to demonstrate this on camera.
So it's when you're using it, like let's say if you're doing like a time trial, if you're doing flats, you can keep it on. Otherwise, you can remove it. Like if you're doing climbings and all, you remove the aero covers and it becomes more vented.
Does it make a difference though?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So on hot days, especially like when you remove the aero covers, they make a difference. But like I usually take this call pre-ride because I don't want to put them like on my jersey or
It just
something
looks so
like.
stupid.
Yeah, like with aero covers. But yeah, like especially if you're in a region like Mumbai, right, where sometimes during like December, January, February it does get a little cold. You can put these on and it helps you out with that as well. But most of the year, otherwise, like when it's like very hot, you can just remove it and use the helmet. So like now you don't need to buy like an aero helmet.
Just
right?
like how Factor gives you additional hangers. Does this helmet give you spares?
Yes.
Oh, really?
No. Like what's like okay, so it gives you some spares in terms of like.
Okay, not this covers, right?
No. But the good part is that because I have the other one, all covers are cross compatible, so you can like create a very unique looking.
But it looks so ugly. The colors will be different. It'll be off.
No, but like so there's another edition which is like rust colored, the PNS one. So if you put rust on this, it won't look bad. Like one of my friends, in fact, two of my friends, they bought the opposite color helmets and swapped the colors. Yeah.
Okay, and okay, let's talk about the shades. I know you texted me. I'm like, hey, I want to get this pair of shades. Where can I get them? I'm like, I have no idea, man. I've heard of it, but I don't see people wearing or talking about it. So if you want to do the honors of introducing this.
So.
Maybe this brand should sponsor you, man, for
No.
this.
So these are the React optrays. I think like this has been done before by a couple of other brands. Like it's got like this.
It looks
like,
good.
Like photochromatic
Yeah.
sensor. It's got a solar sensor and there's like a photochromatic thing inside. But they don't call it photochromatic. They are like this is an LCD screen.
Yeah.
So whenever like UV rays hits it's immediately becomes dark like in 0.1 seconds. Like they claim 0.1 seconds. And because they're Swiss, I'm pretty sure that 0.1 second is measured. Like Swiss precision is like notorious in that sense. I think Ecoy is another company that does a very similar sort of thing. But with Ecoy, I've heard that it flickers quite a bit and it creates a distraction while you're riding.
Yes.
I haven't faced that with this. And also I think the reason is that the Ecoy is a Cat 1 to Cat 3 shade. There's a Cat 2 to Cat 4. So it's not like Cat 1 is almost non-existent. Right? So Cat 2, at least there is something. So it doesn't really go beyond, like lighter beyond a point and darker beyond a point at Cat 4. So that variability is not there. And today we rode through like sun and there was shade. it's so consistent, the vision that you get out of it, that what I left at like 6 o'clock in the morning, when I was like parking the bike at the PNS store at about whatever, like 9:30, I don't think my vision changed at all. Like it looked like it was like very consistent, and like when it goes dark light, the dark light happens from like the outside, so like your vision is not really going like dark and light, so it's not that distracting.
Yeah, you were right about the e-coil. So I interviewed Nathaniel, who was on my show, and that was the first time I've heard of this LCD, LED kind of glasses. And he was saying it's a bit dangerous because of how instantaneous it is. So when you will go into shades and then you just go bang, 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 and it flickers really fast. Does this happen?
No. So in fact, they've, I think, improved the tech here, where the entire LCD doesn't change. Like it's gradual.
Okay, so I can't see it like instantaneously.
No, so like they give you like some torch, like which is like a UV torch, which you have to put here for it to like go dark and light.
And it takes like maybe 1-2 seconds.
Like not even 1-2 seconds, like 0.1. Like you can like which you keep like I was seeing it the other day. They showed it to me, so I picked these up from Bike Settlement, and they had that torch and they were showing me, and you could literally see like it going like dark and light.
How much are we looking at?
About 500.
Ooh, that's
Sing. Yeah.
Is it worth it?
I would think so, yeah. So I mean, look. Okay, 500 Sing is like when you convert it to INR, right? It comes up to like about 25,000 bucks, right? I get a VAT refund when I go back.
Yeah.
So like it comes up to me for like about 20,000 bucks.
Okay.
Alba Optics cost the same in India. Right? So like, and I own Alba Optics, right? So for me, it was like, okay, I'm getting better tech at the same price as Alba Optics. So why not? And I don't get me wrong, I love Alba Optics, but this is just better. Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
And I think it looks slightly more modern than an Alba. Yeah, I think Alba designs are like,
I don't like the
quite
Alba
dated.
designs. I guess it suits a certain person. You have to be like super hipster or super stylish to wear Alba.
Yeah, maybe wear Rafa with it. Or no. Or even better, Ostroy. I don't know if you've heard of this brand called Ostroy.
Ostroy sounds familiar. Yeah.
Like you should check out their bibs and their jerseys. It's like very New York hip vibe. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And you want to show the box?
Yeah. So like this is I think what sold me on the glasses more than the glasses itself, because like whenever you go out, right, like you never take your glasses with you. You'll either like stick them in your helmet or something like that, right? Swiss being Swiss, obviously figured it out. So like it opens up like this, like regular, like a glass. Like I've kept obviously like my MRT card and some like 10 Sing dollars in it just in case I need cash.
Yeah.
But this entire thing collapses like a phone.
Wow.
And it goes in your jersey.
Is it waterproof?
I have not tried it, but it's sweatproof. So it goes into your jersey and like it sits like a phone, right? So like it doesn't occupy that much like space at all.
Yeah.
And then when you go to when you reach a cafe or something, you don't want to leave your glasses on the helmet or something. It might get scratched or something, right? You just like put them back in this.
Wow. Can I just get this without the glasses?
I think you can speak to somebody at Bike Settlement and I think they might oblige.
Whoever who is like a entrepreneur, can you please design something like this for us cyclists? I hate. Okay, I have this IKEA Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
I used to store my palm and money.
Yeah.
And it's like every 1 month I have to keep replacing it because it gets punctures and holes in it. And I used to have this cycling wallet, right? You guys, we all call it cycling wallet. It's basically a pouch and there's a zip, and then the thing is, my phone is huge. Look at this.
Yeah.
It can't fit into the pouch.
Yeah.
And the pouch is expensive, man, unless you can find cheap ones.
Yeah, so that's very interesting that you bring that up. So I was at the PNS store I think a few days back, and I asked them that I'm looking for, and it rained that day in Singapore. So I was like, and I was like, okay, it rained. I need to go buy a waterproof pouch. So I went them. I was like, do you have waterproof pouch? They're like, no, they stopped making it. I was like, why? Like the rain's not stopped. Why did they stop making it? So they're like, no, the phones nowadays are all waterproof and they're too big. So
that's a good point.
so like they've stopped making it. So it's not available anymore. But there is one brand which I know makes it, and they make it in 2 sizes. Then that's Cafe Do Cyclist.
Oh.
Yeah. So like they have good, like a blue and a green one. Very good, but like again, CDC is like a brand which I've not really seen people wear or use that much.
Doesn't sound cheap as well.
Sorry?
Doesn't sound cheap.
it's not cheap. I mean,
anything in cycling
I mean,
cheap?
like how one of my friends put it very nicely, right? Like when you wear Cafe Du cyclist, you feel like you're wearing Moncler.
Maybe that's why not many people are wearing it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go on to IG questions before
Sure.
we wrap this up. Is this camera still running? Okay.
Oh
it is.
yeah.
Let me look for the questions. Am I missing anything, or do you want to highlight anything else?
No.
Oh, we forgot the bars though. The Alanera.
Yeah.
It came with the bike, or you topped it up after?
No.
buying the bike?
It came with the bike. So like, if you go to Cipollini's website, it sells with like the top end version at that time was selling with this, because I don't think they'd partnered with Lightweight at that time. So now if you buy the top end bike, I think it's become more expensive because it comes with the Lightweight Obermeyers. So and the top end comes with the Alanera or the Vision Metron, depending on what you like. I think that handlebar is like close to 300 grams.
Wow.
With the stem.
Awesome. Okay, let's move on to IG Q&A.
Yeah.
I've only got like two or three questions that are interesting. First being the price.
Yeah.
Everyone's like $23,000 and with the mind blown emoji. And what are you gonna react to that?
So I think like if you were to pick this bike up in Singapore or in KL or in like most parts of the world, I think it would be substantially cheaper. But like Indian customs and Indian custom duties don't make things cheap. So as I said, like the frame and the group set in itself end up being like 17K, right?
Yep.
And then like you top it up with other stuff. So that's the issue. Like the bike in itself, the price is high in India because of custom duties. It's not that like they just decide to sell at a higher price point.
Yeah. This question, it was probably answered earlier in the podcast, but let me tweak it and let me just acknowledge his question. He was asking why Campy group set, but let me tweak the question as in, are you sold by Campy, and with all the problems and issues that you've just highlighted, are you still going to stick with Campy, or are you going to try something else?
So I did contemplate moving to Red. I won't lie about it, but I think I'll stick with Campy simply because my goal or my vision for when I was getting a bike, I mean initially building it, but then I got it as is, was that I wanted the bike to be through and through Italian. And for that reason, I will continue with Campy. I think the only non-Italian part on the bike is the bottle cages.
Okay. Speaking of Campy, I know they have this shifters on the hoods.
Yeah.
Is it across all Campy group sets?
Yes.
And that's for downshift and upshift?
No. So how it works is that on the right hand side, the right hand side controls are to operate the RD. So if you want to go to a harder gear, you press the thumb. You want to go to an easier gear, you press the lever. On the left side, it's for the front chainring. If you want to, and it's opposite. If you want to go to a harder gear, you press the lever. If you want to go easier gear, you press the thumbstick.
What's wrong with you Italians? Making things so confusing. And can you configure this on the app?
Yes, you can.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
At least you can still configure it.
Yeah. So you can make it like SRAM. Right?
Yeah.
That the levers go up and down on the RD and the thumb shifters do like only chainring. You can
like
do
thumb
that.
shifters? Do you like it?
Oh, I love it. And there's a specific reason I love it. Especially when you're going on flats, right? It's on climbs, it's not that conducive, and more so if you're on drops, it's even harder to operate them. But there is this one square scenario that if you're doing a lot of endurance riding, which I think everybody's doing endurance riding, and because we're not racers, right, is that you end up riding a lot on the tops, right? Like on the flat bar itself. In that sense, no other group set, SRAM, Shimano, whatever, right? SRAM lets you do it if you get those blips, right?
Shimano as well.
Shimano has those blips?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
It's like sprint shifters.
Oh, okay.
But you could of course mount it wherever you want.
Yeah. So like unless you have those, then you can shift. With Campy, especially if you want to like go to a smaller chainring up front, or if you want to go into a harder gear while you're like going really fast, you can use your pinky to shift it from your tops.
Okay.
So like it becomes like a little bit of an ergonomic. I don't think that was the intended design thing, but I think it became an unintended consequence.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Wow. This whole episode is just roasting and talking about Campy groups. This must be from your friend. What's your next bike with a wink smiley?
I'll like it's going to be a gravel bike. Because I think the roads in Mumbai as they are right now, I think this ride is too harsh. So like a gravel bike makes sense, and like the fact that you have like race gravel frames like the Aspero 5 or the Kayas 01 or things like that, right? you can fit like narrower tires and like still do the same things that you do on a road bike. Just it becomes like a lot more comfortable, and like you have the ability to go wide as well.
Okay. The next question is quite tough.
Okay.
Tough as in, I wouldn't know how to answer this correctly, but it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Why spend 1 month or even more of one's salary on a bike? This is what all my friends who are non-cyclists will ask me.
I think it's like I don't know if it's like simple to answer this or like if it's like a hard question, but it's like if you really love to do something, right? Like you will end up spending on that. Like people who play golf are paying like thousands of dollars on green fees, right? People who ride motorcycles, and because I come from that background, I know like I used to own a liter class motorcycle myself. So I like, again, like you spend like ridiculous amounts of money on motorcycles, gear, helmet, like you want a carbon fiber helmet, you want like the best gear, and you end up spending, right? And you sort of end up justifying the cost if you use it the way it's supposed to be used. But a lot of times people just buy stuff for their vanity, right? And if they can afford it, like why not? Like I don't think there's again, as I said, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this. If you can afford it, sure. If you can afford it and justify it, great. But yeah, I mean, if at the end of the day, like you can spend how much ever you want, but it's not going to go any faster than what you are.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm very curious, and I always do flashbacks like this. So when you told me that you started with a Java Vesuvio. Any lessons from there? Like after having ridden the Java, then you moved on to the track, and then this one.
Yeah, so I would say that like the biggest lesson is that I think I jumped through bikes very quickly. I think I could have spent more time with each of them, and I would have possibly been able to like derive good value out of each. But at the same time, I realized that you get what you spend. And it is true for everything in life, right? Like you get what you spend. Like if you want a really good looking bike, you need to spend for it. If you want a bike that performs, you need to spend for it. And at the end of the day, I think like if you are able to be okay with it, with the cost, and if it gives you happiness to ride on the bike, I don't think like it matters at the end of the day, in that sense. But yeah, like I think the biggest learning would be that I see a lot of people like jumping bikes like left, right, and center because they're like, oh, I'll just get faster. No, it doesn't work like that. Like you can have a bike even more expensive than this. I'm pretty sure there are, like if you go for like a like a titanium Pasoni or something like that, you'll get like ridiculously expensive bikes. But like it'll only take you so far. But beyond that, if you don't have it in your legs, no bike is going to help you climb a 9% grade. Like, let's be very honest.
This morning when I was, just want to resonate with what you just said. This morning I was out on a ride towards the end of my ride. West Coast Highway, where everyone likes to sprint and just go crazy. There was this guy, this guy who I am assuming he was like in his 50s. He didn't look really fit and he was ahead of me. And I was like, okay, this must be an easy guy to tailgate, right? And I did. And then I was trying to show off, so I overtook him. Bad idea. And then he followed me, and then after that he started pulling, and I'm like, shit, I'm already out of gas. and this guy was on like a giant TCR. He had like a heavy ass saddlebag at the back. Like his socks was not even right, man. he didn't. His socks was like ankle socks. I'm like, bro. He was like going extremely fast. Like, so I don't know. Maybe it's me. I'm not training hard enough. I'm not riding hard enough, or it's not the bike, right?
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, and that's the thing, right? Like, then people try to squeeze out every single watt, and I don't think it's wrong. Like a lot of people these days will try and like shave their legs. I don't know, like and people say it's, I don't know, like GCN said it was 15 watts or something like that.
15?
Yeah, I think 15 watts or something like that. If
that's
you shave
even
your
more
legs,
than the new TCR, man.
So I mean, I don't know, like I would never do it because like I don't think like 15 watts is like worth it to like keep, and it's not just once, right? Then you have to do it like every few weeks. Like it's there's enough to do anyway. Like that's not something that So like it's like a very slippery. Like I think cycling in very sense is like a very slippery slope. Like you keep going down and down and down, and it never ends.
It never ends. That slope never ends.
That slope never ends.
Last question for the day.
Yeah.
Does it feel like a $23,000 bike, or it feels the same as a $5,000 to $8,000 bike? For example, like a Canyon Aeroad SLX, Propel, or SL7.
So unfortunately, not ridden any of those bikes. So I won't be able to draw a comparison to that. I have ridden an SLR01, but again, that's a pretty expensive bike, right? Like an SLR, like the one that I rode, close to like 12,000 euros or something like that, right? So again, a pretty expensive bike, very different bike. But no, I would say that if you're spending that kind of money on a bike, you have ridden enough bikes, you will know what you've paid for and what the value of the bike is in terms of its performance. Like as I said, right, even though the Campy group sets end up punching above SRAM and Shimano in terms of price, I think they do deliver in terms of shifting. Like yes, it may be minute, but then like I think after a point, like marginal gains is what you end up paying for, right? Because there's not much to change. Like when you look at the new wireless, right? That these guys Campagnolo's come out with, it's effectively like not to like rip on Campagnolo, but it is what SRAM was like, would say like a couple of years ago, right? Like with their like batteries and everything. And by the way, like I don't know if people know, but like Campagnolo wireless batteries are not interchangeable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the RD batteries, the RD battery, the FD batteries. Like,
it's
what's
like
the
SRAM.
point?
Yeah.
It's like, what's the point, right? Like, tomorrow if a friend wanted to get back home and his battery was dead, I can't do that. I can't give him a battery, right? So like, but all being said, Campy shifting performance, I think out of all of them, like, is phenomenal. If tuned right. So it becomes a big if. But yeah, you do feel the gains. Yeah, 100%.
Right. Okay. Let's wrap up. If there's
Yeah.
nothing else. Nirav, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks so much for having me.
Have a safe flight back to Mumbai, and if you ever come down to Singapore, feel free to visit, man.
Oh, 100%. I think it'll be a little often, but I hope to ride together someday.
Yeah,
Hope I'm able to keep up.
For sure. You're in a PNS jersey. You gotta keep up.
Oh no. I don't think this PNS jersey gives me 15 watts.
Then you gotta shave. Awesome, man. Thanks.
Nice to meet you.